everybody, welcome to another episode of SMC Reviews. I'm here again with Caitlin!
Hey.
And we saw Batman vs. Superman! Yeah! This is my second viewing. This is her first viewing. Well, this is the movie everyone's been waiting for. It's one of the greatest fight match since whenever in comic book history. Everyone's been waiting their whole lives to see this fight. This is DC trying to catch up to Marvel. So, it's now springboarding off of we're officially into the DC Cinematic Universe. This is a sequel to Man of Steel. And, yeah, the critics have been ripping into this one, so we're going to start with the positives and, continue on to the negatives. Positives! I'm biased. I love this movie so much. Ben Affleck is great as Batman. All the haters are eating their words right now. Henry Cavill is awesome as Superman. Ben Affleck got really jacked for this movie. It's insane.
He looks like the Wolverine.
It's ridiculous. And the majority of the cast is back from Superman. Jeremy Irons, who plays Alfred, that was genius casting. I like it. He's really sassy, like in the animated series. And, the action's great. People were hating on Doomsday, but I didn't mind because you needed a villain that could be taken down by 3 members of the Justice League, but not everybody. So, that was alright. And he does evolve into the more bonier, Doomsday that we all know and love. Wonder Woman.
Pretty badass.
Pretty badass. Can't say much about her too much because she was just fighting in there and looking pretty. She doesn't really talk a lot. She acts like Wonder Woman, but let's see how her actually acting goes in her own standalone movie, which is coming out. It's coming out next year, I believe. So there's that. Action's great. Negatives. Some of the scenes could have been cut out, and they're alluding to certain villains for Justice League, but I don't know if they shouldn't be alluding to this villain so early on because it's dumb. They could have gone other villains. Of course, then they could be alluding to other villains because there's another scene with a character that makes a cameo, and then it's like, that could also lead to another set of villains for the Justice League to fight, so it all depends.
They left a lot of doors open for future movies.
There's a lot of doors open, but it makes you just more excited. There's cameos of certain Justice League members. They were done alright. Then, again, this is a 2.5 hour movie. Definitely some stuff could have been cut out. Some things were not addressed, like the destruction in Metropolis, and just, like, other stuff like that. That should have been addressed. I would have done things better the other way. Some things were shoehorned in, and yeah. And then Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor on a fucking rant, because he's horrible. I hate him. He's like one of those nerdy kids that were bragging how smart they are, and you just want to beat them up because they're assholes. But like, I don't care that they're doing a young Lex Luthor. I don't care that he's young. I don't care that he has hair. What I care about is, like, you see that he's smart. We all get that. He was always smart. But he doesn't do anything. Before Superman ever came along, Lex Luthor was a businessman. Crooked as fuck, but he was still a businessman. And now, he just comes off as what he did in the 1950s, which is a
mad scientist
person. I don't know. All he does is like host a party and the most athletic, and he could hold his own. Like, he got goons to fight for him, but when push came to shove, he could actually, defend himself. But the most athletic thing you see him do in this movie is play basketball. And I don't want a Lex Luthor that I feel like I could beat up myself. It's like, hey Superman, let me take care of this little bitch for you. Bang. There you go. Like, he's meant to be intimidating and business savvy and smart. Like, it's someone that Bruce Wayne would have associated with more than one occasion. Because I actually addressed him with, like, this is, like, the first time he's been to one of Lex Luthor's affairs. And then there's this whole thing where it's like, oh, it's not really Lex Luthor, it's his son. And it's like, no, it's the Lex Luthor that we all know. If he's in there with Superman, if you have a Lex Luthor next to Superman, it's the Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
So, I didn't like him at all. He just pisses me off. Not enough to hate the movie, but just, it could have been done so much better. There was rumors that Bryan Cranston was going to be Lex Luthor, which would have been even better. But, just, anyway. Caitlin, what did you didn't like about the movie?
I liked it, but I also didn't, like, I've never watched any of the cartoons or anything, so I didn't know what Lex Luthor was supposed to be like. And, like, I didn't know...
He's not meant to be a little bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, so I thought, like, for the character that they made as Lex Luthor, I thought it was pretty good, but it just turns out that that's not the right character. But, I mean, it was entertaining for me. I am not sure about Ben Affleck. But it just threw me off because it was him, you know?
Because
it's like not a thing.
It's a name person.
Yeah, it just threw me off because it's not something
you know it's Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I could never see him doing that. But I mean, he was great. It was just like took me aback at first. Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was pretty badass. This is like the old school, Dark Knight. It's old school Batman. So he's a lot more violent, which is great. And there's Easter eggs surrounded in this movie, like. There's a scene when they're in an abandoned, near the end, when they actually fight. When they fight is amazing. Like, it's a legit good fight. Just, I guess maybe the motivations behind the fight are kind of crappy, but still, it was still a very good fight. And I don't know if they're in a train station or just some old random abandoned building, but there are Easter eggs that you will see, maybe not on your first viewing, but if you do see it again, you will see it. The one's pretty obvious. There's like, it's spray painted on the column.
So, keep your eyes out.
That you missed. I had to explain it.
I did see it once you reminded me.
Yeah.
I just didn't make the connection.
So there's that. And, like I said, all the other characters are great. But, yeah, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. But, I don't know. We'll see what Suicide Squad does in August. Might fill in some holes, might not. We will see. But yeah, but I'm just a big DC whore, so I'll take anything at this point. So I am giving it a 7 out of 10.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 9.
9.
You
like it more than me. But that's because I know things.
I know. Like, I thought it was really entertaining. Good, like, battle scenes, great effects, great powerful soundtrack. I cried.
Oh, yeah.
She cried in it. Yeah, I thought it was great. I missed all the plot holes. I was just entertained for 2.5 hours. So.
That's fair. If they had addressed the destruction, because that's why a lot of people bitched about Man of Steel, because there's, Superman blew up half Metropolis. If they addressed the destruction, and if Lex Luthor, if they had cut some scenes out, because some scenes went nowhere, you could have cut that out and put in...
It was really long.
Other stuff. Like, there's a dream sequence that makes no sense whatsoever. And, if that would have been cut out, and if Lex Luthor had been better, because I was discussing this with another friend of mine, if this was a Marvel movie, and his name wasn't Lex Luthor, he would just have been a random, forgettable, uninteresting villain. But because he's got the name Lex Luthor attached to him, one of the most well-known comic book villains of all time, people will know who he is, and people will be informed that that's what he's meant to be like, but he's not meant to be like that at all. He's just so annoying.
Yeah,
so annoying.
You can't change one of the most important characters.
I can't unsee it.
Yeah.
He acts like the Riddler. He acts like the Riddler in Gotham. If anyone watches Gotham, he acts like the Riddler in that.
He's like all twitchy and like too smart, and it's creepy.
He's the fucking Riddler. He's the goddamn Riddler from Gotham.
The wrong villain.
He's the wrong shit. Oh my god, now I really can't unsee it. Shit. Damn it. The opening scene's great though in this movie. It's like, oh my god. It's like all slow motion, actiony. Like, the opening of this movie is Batman's origins, which I'm not.
Oh yeah.
Everybody knows. I'm not spoiling anything, but just the way they show them, walking down the alley and how it's shot, really slow motion, and the gun gets practically in Martha Wayne's face, but it was good. It's very Zack Snyder-ish. So yeah, it's really one of those movies where you're going to have to draw your own conclusion whether you like it or not. So definitely check it out. You can be for it or against it, whatever.
It's entertaining, even
Very entertaining.
Just maybe don't go in with the expectations that it'll shatter your whole DC nerd fandom. It's just entertaining for like regular people. That's it.
No, it's still entertaining for DC nerds in the fandom, but I'm gonna buy it. I will see other DC movies. But yeah, and for the love of God, whatever you do, make sure there is no children in the theater when you go see this movie.
Kids apparently don't know the difference between Batman and Superman and like to ask their parents every 2 minutes in every scene loudly. So
yeah, like there's these kids.
Don't bring your kids.
Don't bring your kids if you have any, or your siblings. Yeah, there's these 3 and 4 year olds that are running around the theater, yelling and screeching, and like if it had been because this is my second time seeing it, but if it had been my first time seeing the movie, I would turn around and tell all those kids to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Not ruin this for me, but for Caitlin had it ruined for those poor children.
It's okay. I wasn't as focused, I guess, as you were your first time.
I guess. No, because I was like, because I studied this shit, and the second movie was like, okay, what did I miss the first time?
Yep.
But, and I actually discovered some things. So yeah, next review will be The Jungle Book. So, fun times, Disney, tigers, panthers, bears, orangutans, oh my. So it'll be fun. I don't know, the trailers look great. I'm really rather excited to go see it. So,
Yes.
we shall review that, and that will be all fun and frolic in the bare necessities. So, yeah, go see Batman vs. Superman, whether you are or are not a DC fan nerd. Farewell.